We'll try this again. Real life, I suppose. Alright, where am I at? I had lingered in front of Krongsberg window ever since the hunting shirts had appeared. My sister had rolled her eyes in disdain. Daddy, she pointed out to him as we entered Krongsberg's, that's a man's shirt. The salesman had smiled and said dubiously, I don't quite think... You know, Lizzie, my father said to me as the salesman wrapped the shirt, buying this shirt is probably a very practical thing to do. You will never, ever outgrow this shirt. Now, as we go into a diner for breakfast, the shirt unfolds itself downward until the bottom reaches my knees. From the bulky thickness of the rolled back cuffs, my hands are exposed. I feel totally surrounded by shirt. My father orders coffee for himself. The waitress asks, what about your boy? What does he want? My father winks at me, and I hope that my pigtails will stay hidden inside the plaid wool collar. Holding my head very still, I look at the menu. At home, my usual breakfast is cereal with honey and milk. My mother keeps honey in a covered silver pitcher. There's no honey on the diner's menu. What's your favorite thing to eat in the whole world? Asked my father. I smile at him. Cherry pie, I admit. If he hadn't been away for so long, he would have known. My mother even put birthday candles on a cherry pie on my last birthday. It was a family joke in a family that hadn't included Daddy. My father hands back both menus to the waitress. 3 pieces of cherry pie, he tells her. 3? She looks at him sleepily, not writing the order down. You mean 2? No, he said, I mean 3. 1 for me with black coffee, and 2 for my hunting companion with a large glass of milk. She shrugs. We eat quickly, watching the sun rise across the Pennsylvania farmlands. Back in the car, I flip my pigtails out from under my shirt collar and giggle. Hey, boy, my father says to me in an imitation of the groggy waitress's voice. You sure you can eat all that cherry pie, boy? Just you watch me, lady, I answered in a deep voice, pulling my face into a stern, serious line. We laughed again, driving out into the gray-green hills of the early morning. It's not far to the place he has chosen. Not long until he pulls the car to the side of the empty road and stops. Grass, frozen after its summer softness, crunches under our feet. The air is sharp and supremely clear, free from the floating pollens of summer, and our words seem etched and breakable on the brittle stillness. I feel the smooth wood of the crow call in my pocket, moving my fingers against it for warmth, memorizing its ridges and shape. I stamp my feet hard against the ground now, and then as my father does. I want to scamper ahead of him like a puppy, kicking the dead leaves and reaching the unknown places first. But there's an uneasy feeling along the edge of my back, and the thought of walking in front of someone who is a hunter. The word makes me uneasy. Carefully, I stay by his side. It is quieter than summer. There are no animal sounds, no birds' waking noises. Even the occasional leaf that falls within our vision does so in silence, spiraling slowly down to blend in with the others. But most leaves are already gone from the trees. Those that remain catch there by accident, waiting for the wind that will free them. Our breath is steam. Daddy, I asked shyly, were you scared in the war? He looks ahead, up the hill, and after a moment he says, yes, I was scared. Of what? Lots of things. Of being alone, of being hurt, of hurting someone else. Are you still? He glances down. I don't think so. Those kinds of scares go away. I'm scared sometimes, I confide. He nods, unsurprised. I know, he said. Are you scared now? I start to say no. Then I remember that scares me. Hunter. The word that scares me. Hunter. I answer, maybe a little. I look at his gun, his polished wax prize, and then at him. He nods, not saying anything. We walk on. Daddy? He is watching the sky, the trees. I wish the crows didn't eat the crops. They don't know any better, he says. Even people do bad things without meaning to. Yes, but I pause and then say what I've been thinking. They might have babies to take care of. You know, baby crows. Now, Liz, Not now, Liz. Not this time of year. By now, their babies are grown. It's a strange thing, but by now, they don't even know who their babies are. He puts his free arm over my shoulders for a moment. And their babies grow up and eat the crops too, I say and sigh, knowing it to be true and unchangeable. It's too bad, he says. We began to climb the hill. Can you call anything else, Daddy, or just crows? Sure, he says. Listen. Moo. That's a cow call. Guess the cows didn't hear it, I tease. Well, of course, sometimes they choose not to answer. I can do tigers, too. Rawr. Ha! So can I. And bears. Better watch out now. Bears might come out of the woods. On this one, grrr. You think you're so smart doing bears. Listen to this. Giraffe call. He stands with his neck stretched out, soundless. I try not to laugh, wanting to do rabbits next, but I can't keep from it. He looks so funny with his neck pulled away from his shirt collar and a condescending poised giraffe look on his face. I giggle at him, and we keep walking to the top of the hill. From where we stand, we can see almost back to town. We can look down at our car and follow the ribbon of road through the farmlands until it is lost in the trees. Dark rows of houses lie scattered, separated by pastures. Okay, Lizzie, says my father, this is a good place. You can do the crow call now. I see no crows. For a moment, the fear of disappointing him struggles with my desire to blow into the smooth, polished tip of the crow call. But I see that he's waiting, and I take it from my pocket, hold it against my lips, and blow softly. The harsh, muted sound of sleeping crow comes as a surprise to me, and I smile at it, at the delight of having made the sound myself. I do it again softly. From a grove of trees on another hill comes an answer from a waking bird, just one, and then silence. Tentatively, I call again, more loudly. The branches of a nearby tree rustle, and crows answer, fluttering and calling crossly. They fly briefly into the air and then settle on a branch, 3 of them. Look, Daddy, I whispered. You see them? They think I'm a crow. He nods, watching them. I move away from him and stand on a rock at the top of the hill and blow loudly several times. Crows rise from all the trees. They scream with harsh voices, and I respond, blowing again and again as they fly from the hillside in circles, dipping and soaring, landing speculatively, lurching from the limbs in the afterthought, and then setting again with resolute and disgruntled shrieks. Listen, Daddy, do you hear them? They think I'm their friend, maybe their baby, all grown up. I run about the top of the hill and then down, through the frozen grass, blowing the crow call over and over. The crows call back at me, and from all the trees they rise from all the hills. They circle and circle, and the morning is filled with the patterns of calling crows. As I look back, still running, I can see my father sitting on a rock, and I can see him smiling. My crow calling comes in shorter and shorter spurts as I become breathless. Finally I stop and stand laughing at the foot of the hill, and the noise from the crows subsides as they circle and settle back in the trees. They are waiting for me. My father comes down the hill to meet me coming up. He carries his gun carefully, and though I am grateful to him for not using it, I feel there's no need to say thank you. Daddy knows this already. The crows will always be there, and they will always eat crops. And some other morning, on some other hill, a hunter, maybe not my daddy, will take aim. I blow the crow call once more and say good morning and goodbye and everything that goes in between. Then I put it in my pocket of my shirt and reach over, out of my enormous cuff, and take my father's hand. Lois Lowry as a child, wearing the plaid shirt featured in this book of crow call, she says. The details of the story are true. They happened in 1945 to me and my father. But parents and children's groping toward understanding each other. That happens to everyone. And so this story is not really just my story, but everyone's. All right, here are some possible ideas that you could use. The first day of 8th grade, which might be really interesting this particular year as opposed to other years. A trip to the principal's office. Might not have a great ending. A time something went wrong but turned out for good. A time when you did something that took a lot of nerve. A time when you didn't follow the crowd. Or a time when you stood up for your beliefs. A family vacation. A specific sporting event you won or lost. a time you made your parents proud, or perhaps a time when you made your parents not so proud. A time when your parents were right. A time you discovered something you believed in wasn't real. Okay? These are just a couple of choices. Of course, you want to pick something that's exciting. I think I think I shared with you, I'm trying to remember the stories that I have so many stories, that I shared with you the time that the guy was there videoing for prom. Okay, I can't remember if I did or not. We always had a prom video, and the guy would always come like a couple days before prom and just get some shots of us, you know, walking through the halls or decorating the gym or whatever. And, you know, yeah, and everybody always wore like their best outfit, you know, because you knew you were going to be on the prom video, you know. Well, here I am with my big stack of books, and I'm walking down the stairs, you know, again in my best outfit. And I mean, I missed that first step. Bam! Bam, bam, bam. Slid down about 4 steps. Books and paper went everywhere. As if I wasn't embarrassed enough, I look up, video camera guy, right in my face. So I'm just like, oh, not only have I fallen down the stairs, but it's actually going to be captured in the prom video for, you know, the rest of our lives. Luckily, he had some, felt sorry for me, and all you see is me picking up the papers. You don't actually see me falling down the stairs. Yeah, exactly, I know.
I wish it was the other way around.
So I want you to take a few minutes today and brainstorm some ideas that you could use to write for your personal narrative. Let's see if make sure they can read this list at home. Hold on 1 second. I'm zooming in on the list so they can see them.
I already have the